Hi, welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. Today we are going to create 3 looks using the Lurella Rebirth and Afterlife palettes. I used them in conjunction with each other. I just felt like it was needed with this color story and these palettes. They do sell them separately or as a pair. I think that they're more of a pair than needing to be sold separately. I have a lot of thoughts on these palettes, just saying. We'll get into that probably. We'll see. But yes, stay with me. For the first look, I'm starting off with Purity, and I'm throwing that all over my eye to kind of set it. And I also thought maybe just a little bit of that color would show through, but it's like my skin tone, so you know, I'm not a big fan of that, and it's not probably a palette for everybody either, by the way. Just saying. I'm going into bone, like for every skin tone, but yeah, I'm going into bone and I'm throwing that on my eye just like that. Now these shades, when I looked back at this video, I thought that everything looked pretty well, but I will tell you, I felt like I struggled with this palette. I felt like I had to I don't know, I'm gonna go into Rebirth and use that as a brow bone highlight, that I had to try really hard with this palette. I felt like some of the shades were patchy. I'm going to go into darkness because hello darkness. Okay, never mind. I'm not even going to attempt to sing. I'm throwing that out my outer corner. But yeah, I just felt like the shades were patchy and I had to build them and they didn't want to build. I don't know, you guys. Also, some of these shades are like dupes within themselves in the palette. I'm going into Superstition and throwing that bottom lash line. Like they're the same shade or appear to be the same shade on the eye or even in a swatch. So there were like shades that they could have gotten rid of and added different shades to the palettes, in my opinion. So yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of dupes in this palette and in these 2 palettes. Some within each other and some in both palettes, if that makes sense. I went to Moonlit and look. Does that look like a shimmer? Yeah, no. And it was lifting my corner shadow, so I went in with my finger and it still didn't look like a shimmer. However, when I put on a glitter glue, it did turn out to be a shimmer. But you have to use a glitter glue. This is not a shimmer that you can use without one, and it does lift and mess with the other shadows. So I really wanted to love these palettes, but I really don't, to be honest. This is my favorite look, by the way, look number 1. I can make them work, and I love the packaging, and I love the price point, but I just couldn't. These palettes are 15 a piece. I went into Resurrection for my inner portion. They're $15 a piece, 30 together. I'm gonna go into gray for my inner corner. I feel like it's like a $15 together kind of a palette, and then I took that darkness shade and brought it down on my bottom lash line. Like I said, I can make this palette work. I threw on eyeliner off camera, and then I threw on some lashes, and that's a finished look. I think it turned out great, but you have to work with it. You have to use a primer, like a glitter primer for the shimmers. It's beautiful, like I made it work, but I did use a wing liner to cover up some of the patchiness. So I don't know. Second look, I'm going into Howling, and I'm throwing that on my whole lid. This black was really nice, to be honest. I didn't have any issues with it, which is nice. You do have to build it, but I feel like with a black for most people, you need it to be able to build because it can be too intimidating or get too intense. For me, I prefer it to be super intense right off the bat, but I do know that for beginners or, you know, whatever, that a buildable black is easier for them. So yeah, the palette's okay. I don't think that I'll reach for it again, and it's just going to be a palette that I look at and enjoy the packaging of, because I do love the names of the shadows, and I do love the theme. I do wish that it was magnetic and that the two palettes like stuck to each other so I could really display it, but they don't. Maybe I'll have to glue them together so I can get that coffin shape and store them for, you know, to be pretty. I threw it on my bottom lash line too. I just think I have better palettes. But yeah, I do love the packaging, and I really wanted to love it. And I do want to try more Lurella palettes to see if it was just this one that I didn't like the performance of, because I do actually, I'm going to go into Apparition, and I'm going to use that to blend out the black edges, blend out the edges of that black. I do like their lash glue, and I'm really picky with lash glue, and I really liked it. And I also really like their lip gloss that I tried. I'm throwing on glitter primer on my eyelid. And there was another product of theirs that I've just tried that I really liked. What was it? I don't remember right now. I'm drawing a blank. I took that silver shimmer and threw it on the top of that glitter primer. I wish I knew what the product was that I used that I liked of theirs. Oh, it was their liner. I'm going into the Grim shade now and throwing that on the inner portion. It's the felt tip liquid liners. I really liked those a lot. Going into Eternity and throwing it on top too, just because. And then I'm taking gray for the inner corner again, out of camera, by the way. So I'm hoping that maybe the formula just wasn't the best in this. I'm throwing on some glitter primer on my bottom lash line, and I'm using a loose glitter called My Soul. It's just a black glitter. Don't put glitter on your eyes. It's not safe. I'm not responsible for your eyeballs, okay? Okay. I just do what I do, alright? And I'm not sure I quite liked the way that turned out. It should have just left it black. But, you know, I just wanted to be extra, so I went extra. But yeah, I didn't struggle with any of the shadows for this look, if I'm being honest, but I did struggle with other shadows. So yeah, just, you know, keeping it real. And this is the finished look. You'll have to let me know what you think. I know I always sound like I'm such a downer with my stuff or with palettes or whatever, but I do just want to keep it real. And I mean, the packaging on these palettes are great. The black was decent. The gray was decent. There are a lot of repeat shades. The shimmers you have to use a glitter primer with. And I did find some of the shadows to be patchy. And I think you'll really see it here with this third look. I'm going into that one shade. I didn't catch the name of it because I was so busy blabbing, because I don't know, I'm in a blabby mood. But yeah, I threw that on my eye just like that. This look is a lot softer than the other two. I felt like maybe you guys would want more of a soft look with this palette. So yeah, and I'm just throwing that, shadow on, and I took it down on my bottom lash line too. Yeah. I don't think any palette is 100% perfect in my opinion. But these had a lot of downfalls in my opinion. So I went into Afterlife and I threw that on my outer corner and started packing it on. And as you see, do you see in my outer corner there where it's patchy? I don't know if you can see that, but I can see it, and you could see it in real life, like big time. But yeah, which is why with my first look I did such a big wing. I mean, I love wings, don't get me wrong. I'm using Rebirth to highlight my brow bone and stuff. But I've had to use it to cover up the patchiness. It wasn't because I was going for a winged look. I went into darkness because I wanted some more depth, and I also was trying to cover up that patchiness, and I still felt like it was patchy. I don't know. I'm a Debbie Downer. I'm sorry. I took Coffin and I didn't use a glitter primer because I didn't want to use a glitter primer. I don't always like using them. I feel like they kind of do hurt my eyelids, especially if I use them multiple days in a row, and my eyelids just didn't want them. And it was not very, you see, I don't know. I went into Grave and threw it on top to try and see if that shimmer was going to perform a little bit better. It did. I went into Moonlit again and tried to use that with my finger on the outer corners, and yeah, then I took Grave and used it for an inner corner highlight. That is the finished look. You can see it's kind of patchy, and off camera I blended and blended. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.